So remember that they're changing my voice. In this video, let's understand the lessons of Psalm 90:12 and Isaiah 51:12. What does it mean for life to be short, to be brief, to understand the brevity of life? So it says, teach us to number our days so that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Teach people to understand that life is short. One thing I've said many times is that the best years of your life aren't 16 to 21 or so, or 25. It's really 19 to 29. Okay? Before that, people are basically snot-nosed brats. And almost without exception. Their relationships are shallow, they're shallow, and they almost certainly will never grow out of it. What happens from the ages of 19 to 29, that's when you're really in your youthful kind of exuberance. Now, if you're me, it extends into your 30s, maybe till about 35 or 36 or 37. After that, you see 40 is too close. And 40s are no fun. Trust me, I'm 42. So, what does it mean? Well, there's a lot of reasons I know more about this than most people. When I was younger, my dad's like, I want to say he's 36 years older than me. He's significantly older than me, right? And most people's parents were significantly younger. They had them, their dad was like 26 when they were born. In some cases, their dad was even like 18 or 19 when they were born, but quite often they're in their 20s. Where my dad was 36 when I was born. So there was quite the generation gap. And it caused me to think about time perhaps a little bit more than most people. I didn't spend a lot of time with my father growing up, right? He'd just kind of come around and punish me and drop a few words of wisdom here and there. And he'd work at times 16 hours a day. So the amount of time I spent with him isn't that much, right? And quite often when he'd come home, he'd just watch TV and there'd be a lot of disapproval. So I would, go up to my room and I would watch rental movies and eventually internet movies in my room while he watched whatever he was watching, rentals or things on the satellite TV downstairs in the TV room. Okay, so life is short. Now, if you're somebody who's really mature and you I'm not going to be moving the slightest no matter who dies, right? I'll just assign punishment according to people's deeds. I'll be, it's a shame, but I'm not some Freemason person who doesn't grasp it, who would say that phrase. I'm someone who actually gets it, okay? Other people don't get it. When you conform to Masonry and the state and the military and the police and the education system and you name it, then you don't understand the point of life. There's no way around that. And I'm sure we all know that there's tons of people, no matter what you tell them, right, their complexes won't allow them to change course. 99% of people in the military and law enforcement are hell-bent to be evil, right? They're hell-bent. They're not the type of people that you could reason with. Okay, for example, if you went up to the average, military vet and you said, hey, maybe it was a bad decision to join the military, what percentage of them would agree, right? If they agreed, it would be because of benefits and money, right? They wouldn't want to give up that false pride. Almost certainly, the vast majority of them. It's the same thing with law enforcement, it's the same thing with being a teacher. It has to do with money and how much people kiss your ass to them, okay? Because they don't understand the true point of life, right? The wisdom that they're talking about has to do with understanding why people are compared to grass, right? They're insignificant like grass, right? Cows eat grass and there's nothing else comes of them kind of thing. Okay. They get devoured by Baal, the bull. They're but grass for the bull, the devil, Baal to consume. So it says, teach people to number their days. That's why I put that picture of an old man, some bitter old man, right? Like Mr. Nelson from Dennis the Menace, that stop clock. Okay, let's face it. When you stop being able to intensely convey love, which none of you have ever done in your life, quit kidding yourselves. You haven't. Take it from the most romantic person ever. What you people have is not love. But when you stop being able to intensely do it as a young man, you're living a different life than when you were able to. And when you're 19 to 29, say you went to college, right? Say if you went to medical school, there goes your whole kind of the best years of your life, just all study, bookworm, right? You spend it as a bookworm, okay? Same thing with law school. Pursuing a PhD, right? If you're pursuing a PhD in some boring, subject, quantum, physics or what have you, and you go off and be a physicist, right? You're just bookworm before you know it, you're old, and when what for? To build with the foolish builders? You gave up the best years of your life to uphold the devil's trickle-down rape system. All that mass murder and that mass rape, all those quotas, those death rates, rate and rape are similar words for a reason. A racist and a rapist are like nearly identical. They're nearly identical spiritual states. In many ways, they're different components of the same thing, because a racist is contributing to rape by deception. So the word race, rate, and rape are all very similar, and it describes these were the types of people in cults that deliberately did things a certain way, like Imhotep. The cult of Imhotep, where the Greeks took this Egyptian person and they deified him as a god. And then there's some controversy about what race he was. I don't care. Okay, I don't. He was just a scribe, and even if he wasn't, what really matters is the truth and universal pinpoint and moral precision. Not getting the race of people long ago right. However, when your oppressor's using that against you, then it matters a bit more, doesn't it? Now think about it. What does it mean to number your days? Okay, write down this word. I hope you understand this. Write down two words, right? Rather, one is timeline, right? Timeline, and one is timing. I made several, maybe like 30, 40, 50 plus videos where I dedicated those videos to my life story. I've written down a lot of stuff from my life story. There's lots of stuff that I didn't include that, I remember later and say, I should have put that in there. Don't you hate that, right? But it's inevitably going to happen. If you wrote a book on your life, what are the odds you remembered everything? Someone will remind you of something and say, I should have put that in my book, right? And so, but nonetheless, you should all type out a timeline and try to understand who you are, where you came from, where you've been, what have you, where you're going. Okay? And it will help you understand that you've been wasting your lives. Now, again, some people seem like nice people, right? I can't stress the difference between nice and righteous enough. Even some people, when they put their head up at me because they're told to, or whatever their issue is, they seem like nice people. But it's not enough to be nice. It's what are you doing with your life? I'd rather you be the biggest jerk that ever lived, so to speak, and do the right thing. Some people might think that magically I'm magically a jerk, right? Because I'm provoked all the time. I'm bitter. I'm sick of the bull for a good reason. I'm fed up for a good reason, not for lack of discipline or something, not for mere intolerance, for the wrath of God, for the better. How would the righteous man respond? With righteous indignation, not with being nice and conformity. That's for people who are sick. The ill go into hell. So to number your days, did you waste your days trying to be polite and trying to conform? Or did you rise to the occasion like I have my whole life? Before I was even in high school, I saw myself as a revolutionary, okay, as a leader. As everything from a gang leader to a black revolutionary to a Christian revolutionary, you name it, right? CRIP, Christ rest in peace. That's how I defined it by the time I was, 16 in camp, for example. But that's how I saw it when I was younger. I said, these guys go to church, they wear crosses, and how can you wear symbols that go beyond mere gang culture, mere ghetto culture, mere urban black culture, that goes to the depths of why we're here, the idea of God Almighty. Okay, I understood. I did not want to waste my life in a cubicle. I did not want to waste my life merely just trying to feed my family or something. That there's a higher cause. Someone who's truly a warrior is not going to settle for mediocrity, and someone who's truly a warrior of God is going to fight for God, period. Nothing's going to stop him. He's not going to accept white social norms, Jewish social norms, any racial supremacists. Not going to say, some black guy saying, hey, but I'm a black too, and we have a movement here. It's not good enough. He's going to say, what is moral precision? What is correct? What is the divine order? Before I was even, in high school, when I recommended the church orders changing, I didn't say, hey, any old black guy will do, guys. No, I said it has to be a morally precise order.